Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Style by Fiona. Yes, we are back with our image consultant and friend, Fiona McAllister, joining us here once again. And we want to talk more today, of course, about the work she's doing. She taught me a lot about colors last time. And I know the first week we got to know you and your history, and of course, what made you get into this field to begin with, and discuss the color analysis. We did that as well the other week. And today we're going to move a little more into, is it body shapes? Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the biggest challenges I find that women face when it comes to self-acceptance is kind of just the shape and type of bodies that we have, right? Because as we've talked about before, the media sells us, at least in North America, that the fashion models under 35 are the beauty ideal.
Yeah.
And so if we don't fit that, no longer fit that, or never have fit that, it can be a challenge for us to even want to go shopping, or even to feel like I deserve the opportunity to feel and look beautiful, right? And so today we're going to talk about body types and body shapes and all of the different ways that these things are expressed in nature, in women, and the variety that nature gives to women in general. And so, yeah, body type is often mixed up with body shape. So I'm sure you've heard of the terms like, are you pear-shaped or apple, or those kinds of things that are, like made popular by the shows like What Not to Wear, or just blog posts or magazines or this or that, all of those kinds of things that we see. But body type specifically refers to like bone structure, muscle, how much, well, yeah, I'm going to use the F word, fat you do or don't have on your body. And that's body type. And people of different body shapes can still have the similar body types.
Got it.
So, I mean, even in the fashion models, they will have different body shapes, even though they all have the same body type. So the fashion models have what's called a skeletal body type, which means they are very, and I know these words don't always sound super friendly, but that's the way it is.
the reality of what it is, and it's okay to say yes.
So the body types that the fashion models have is called skeletal, right? And you can imagine why, because they're very tall and they're very thin and very narrow. And so the predominant thing that you see would be kind of bony, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And so, but even then with that body type, they'll still have triangles, inverted triangles, rectangles, just depending on how wide or narrow their waist bones are, or their shoulder bones, or this kind of thing, right? And then the next body type over from that is molded. And I'm afraid I don't really have celebrities in mind. I guess I could have thought about that before I came on, but a molded body type is somebody who's a little bit more, like, I guess Marilyn Monroe would be a good example of a molded body type, because she was very curvy, and like she obviously was not the same body type as the fashion models, at least the way they are now. I don't know what the fashion models were like in the 40s and 50s, but anyway. Yeah. So Marilyn Monroe is an example of the molded body type, where you're a little bit more fleshy, a little bit more curvy. And then the next one is muscular. So that would be women who are very toned, I guess you could say. So like weightlifters, or bodybuilders, those kinds are muscular. And so, and then there's blends of body types as well. So you can have somebody who's both skeletal and molded. Like if they have, so for example, if somebody had a very curvy chest, but they had thin arms, that would be kind of a blend of the body types. And so knowing your body type is just as important as knowing your body shape when it comes to which fabrics are going to work for you, and how to use clothes in order to best highlight or camouflage your body's And so body shape then comes into the basic 6, which different trainers talk slightly different, but basically there's your rectangle, which means you have even shoulders and hips. There is your oval, which means that your stomach is a little rounder and you'll have narrower shoulders and hips than your stomach. Your hourglass is where you've got even hips and shoulders and a narrow waist. The triangle is where your hips are wider than your shoulders. And your inverted triangle is where you have wide shoulders and then narrow hips. And so when you put the combination of your body type and your body shape, that gives you the foundation of which clothes you're going to use, which fabrics you're going to wear, for what will best highlight, your body shape.
All right. Thank you for that. And by the way, how do we reach you, Fiona, if we're interested in speaking with you? What is your website? Any form of contact? I just want to make sure we mention that off the top.
Yeah, sure. So my website is stylebyfiona.com, and my email is fiona@stylebyfiona.com. And if you want to text or call me, you can do that at 403-966-5896. And if you're not ready to do anything yet, but you want to just check out what I have on social media, I have some videos and things like that on YouTube. Everything that I'm on social media is just all Style by Fiona. So if you go into whatever platform and you type Style by Fiona, I should
just
come
Google
up.
it. Awesome. We got the difference between the body shape and the body type, but now how does that really affect what we're wearing?
Yeah. So let me just pull up or show up pictures here. So body shape is, like I said, your triangles, your inverted triangles, and all of that. And part of what you need to do is you need to determine whether you want to highlight or keep your body shape. So if you're totally happy with your body shape, like for me, for example, I have I'm a triangle, so I've got narrower shoulders and wider hips. And most of the time I feel pretty happy. I mean, it's taken a while, right? Because we all have to overcome those negative media messages and any comments we might have heard from other people that say this or that about us. But 95% of the time I feel happy with my body shape and body type. I'm a molded / muscular, but generally speaking, people who are skeletal are going to look better in clothes that are narrow and that are fitted, and you're going to use medium to taut fabrics. So do you understand what I mean by that? Or
no, I don't.
Okay, so
I'm thinking of the color wheel that you showed me last time.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so medium to taut fabrics are fabrics that have more structure, like denims, taffeta, those kinds of things that are not smooth and soft like silks or silks are the best example of fabrics that would work better generally for people who are muscular or molded, because they flow over the body, right? And if you have natural curves already, then having a fabric that matches those natural curves and flows with them helps you to look better. So if you've got the skeletal body type, then having fabrics that kind of mirror that structure that your body already naturally has will look better on you. So I'm just trying to think, denims, anything really. It doesn't even have to be right down to the fabric, because if you have something that's got boning in it or something that builds in that structure into the fabric, that can help too, right? Like if you have a satin, for example, but you've got boning in it, then that will create structure, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's so pretty. Sounds
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm thinking of an old bridesmaid's strapless dress that I have, it like the boning in it. It was so silky, smoothly beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. And so it's also about knowing how to combine things like that, right? So satin itself is not really a structured fabric, but by having construction details like boning, for example, makes it so that it will be able to fit that body type better. So yeah, when it comes to general fabrics things, those are kind of how that works.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. And now I lost my train of thought. Where were we? I could be on the boning.
Yeah, you got stuck on that bridesmaid dress.
Yes, I did. I did. So we're talking about the clothes and what we're choosing things. Okay. Good. Where were we?
Uh, so when it comes to body shapes, it's usually about deciding how you want to balance your body. So,
hmm
and I'll just use myself for an example. I mean, we don't have time to go over everything, but if I wanted to appear more hourglass, then I would choose fabrics, or sorry, not fabrics, garments that have wider shoulders, right? So
Okay.
something with shoulder pads, or you can also use color to offset those things as well. So colors that are lighter kind of um, appear brighter and come closer in our vision, and colors that are darker recede. So if I wanted to appear more balanced without having to use construction details in the garments like shoulder pads or that, I would wear like maybe a light colored top and like a dark colored bottom. And that would help to make me appear more hourglass,
Okay.
because I have a narrow waist. Now, not all triangle have a narrow waist, but I do. So I can choose garments to create that illusion. And people have, I mean, I guess unfortunately the only one that you really have a hard time with that would be like the ovals, where they have a large midsection and narrower shoulders and hips. But the way you can trick people with that, not really trick people, that's not the right way to put it, but that you can create illusion with that, is to choose long narrow garments that kind of create a vertical visual line. So like kimonos, or I forget, like long cardigans, duster cardigans, those kinds of things would um, create a long vertical
Mhm.
a long
I got
vertical
it.
visual line,
hmm
help elongate your
Vertical
chin.
visual. That's a little difficult. It's too many V's. We're like,
uh,
wait, uh-huh.
yeah. It's like, can I get through that tongue twister? But yeah, so those are just some examples of how people with different body shapes and types can learn to use fabrics, and garment construction to help with with what they want to look like, or how they want their body to be portrayed, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So, also we're talking about shapes and features, and specifically, I know we're going to get into makeup and jewelry as well, but
Yeah.
there are things we could do to kind of hide, camouflage, change, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
give me,
definitely.
you could change. I can't. What I love, I saw on a TikTok recently, like changing the shape of someone's nose. Like, I could look at you now, and then these girls put makeup on, and then I have like a really skinny nose or a really fat nose. Like, it's amazing how contouring. I don't. That's crazy.
It is. Personally, I don't do a lot of contouring, because I find that my philosophy on that is, it's about highlighting the beauty you have, not making you appear to be somebody else, right?
hmm
And so, I mean, within reason, of course, feel free to use contouring or whatever to highlight different features or to narrow different features, that kind of thing.
hmm
But overall, I'm just like, with or without makeup, people should still know it's you, right?
hmm True.
Like, there are some YouTubers who do, like, the makeup transformations, or whatever, and that's all good fun. But if you're the point is to be comfortable in your own skin. And if we're completely changing the way that we look with makeup, then that isn't encouraging self-acceptance, right? It's like hiding who we are, and presenting a face of somebody who we're really not. And don't get me wrong, if people have scarring or anything like that, and make them and wearing make them really helps them to feel better about themselves, by all means go for it, right? It's just about remembering that, my philosophy anyway, is that it's about using fashion and makeup and jewelry and all of these things to foster self-acceptance and self-love ultimately. um yeah, so
I never know. Okay, makeup I've heard of like changing things. What about jewelry though? How does that work? Is it like distracting your eyes or explain that one? Like
Okay,
I'm looking at
so
your beautiful necklace today. What am I distracting from? Because you have a beautiful face. What am I what am I supposed to be distracted from?
well, the point that I wore this necklace today specifically is to highlight the principle of balance points. Okay, so balance points are using the natural features and the length of the jewelry to highlight what I've got. So I have a like a heart-shaped face, heart slash oval, because I have very wide cheekbones, which makes it a little bit more than not quite oval, but I have a narrow chin. But you can see how, here, let me come a little, or stand up a little bit. But this shape in my jawbone, or from my jawbone down to my chin, is kind of mirrored in the shape of the necklace. Can you see that?
It is, yeah.
And so that's how you can use jewelry to highlight or repeat the natural beauty that you have. One example, and I mean, the earrings that I'm wearing are kind of a diamond shape too. And I mean, I don't have a diamond shaped face, but because my cheekbones are very prominent, it creates kind of a half diamond shape from my cheekbone down to my chin. And so that's one way that you can use jewelry, or just one example of how you can use jewelry to mirror your natural features. And the other thing that I was going to talk about with this is currently slipped my mind.
It happens. Don't worry.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. Oh, and I was also going to just talk about again how it relates to color too, right?
Yep.
So I'm a winter, and we talked about color last time, which means I look better in cool tones, which means for metals it's silver over gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and the other, oh yeah, that's the other thing, is talking about scale when it comes to our facial
scale
features.
and what does that mean? Scale and body. Yep.
Okay, so let me just find my picture in my book here real quick. So basically, scale means how big or small your features are, how tall or thin you are, like just those kinds of things, and how you can use that to relate to what you wear. So this picture here, I don't know if you can see it in this book here. It shows sculptures and paintings of women who have different features. So this woman on this side here where I'm pointing to, I'm not sure what that relates to, opposites with cameras or whatever, but she's got very large scale features. And the woman in this picture here has small scale features compared to her face. So you can see how her eyes are small, and it appears she has lots of forehead and stuff. Whereas this one on this side, her eyes and cheeks are very large, and the other ladies in the pictures are in between. And so I have like medium to large features. Like I'll just come a little closer to camera, but in terms of my eyes and my nose, they take up a lot of space in my face. So they're medium to large in scale. Whereas somebody, if you've seen who's got a narrower eyes or cheeks or whatever, not cheeks, sorry, nose. Here, let me just pull up this picture on this book. So I can't quite tell if you can see that, but in comparison, like this one has small eyes versus somebody with larger eyes.
Yep.
And when we're choosing jewelry here, I've got a couple here that I just brought so I can show you what I mean by that and how it works with jewelry. Is so on this necklace here, it has larger, oops, it's kind of tangled. Just a second. There we go. So it's got larger gems and stuff, whereas this guy here is narrower and skinnier, right? So this is a small scale jewelry, and this one's a medium to large scale jewelry. And if you can see me holding them up, you can tell which one mirrors my natural looks better. It's this guy, because this one
is a little thinner.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Can you see understand what I mean by that?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. And so for people who've got narrower noses and eyes and smaller eyes and those things, the more dainty jewelry will be a better like match. Now I can wear this if I want to like contrast my features, right? So you can also do that to contrast or highlight your features as well. And so in camouflaging and contrasting, it's choosing things that are the opposite of what your natural features are. So let me just pull up my chart here that I wanted to show you. Where is it? Okay. This one here, it's got pictures of the shoes and the blouses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got large scale or medium scale or small scale, it shows how you can choose different things to highlight those. And that's what we're trained to do, is for people who want to go through the whole process of top to bottom. Like, we go through every feature you have, your shoulder shape, your shoulder slope, your face, whether your features protrude, whether they're more inset, whether you have a large or a small bosom, or the bosom is set on your body, hip size, leg length.
Wow.
All of these things we go for people who want the whole picture, the whole everything, the whole service, right? And like, we go through top to bottom, every part of your body, and helping you both to accept every part of your body, learn to love it, or at least accept it. You don't always have to love everything about yourself, but you can at least accept it and feel neutral about things, right? Instead of being like, oh, I hate my nose. It could be like, okay, well, how do we use your nose? And how do we use fashion to help highlight or camouflage and makeup? All of those things to help you feel more better in your skin and help accept yourself, right?
Perfect. Yep. Beautifully said, Fiona. And we just have 2 minutes left, unfortunately. What else did you want to get out before we have to go?
Oh, that's all right. I think the biggest thing is just kind of what I've said from the beginning is, or what I say every time, I suppose, is just learning how you can use fashion to help your self-acceptance. And when I was doing my master's research, I had a theme that emerged from the research that was, we can use clothing as a tool to help us know where we currently sit on how we do or don't accept our appearance and our bodies. And so the ladies who found something that fit really well, their internal dialogue was, wow, this looks great on me. I feel so good in this. And knowing that not everything's going to work for you, and it's not that you're flawed, it's that clothing is just not right for you. Yeah. I mean, I've had people who would say, like, you look good in everything, which obviously isn't true. But the trick is that I know what works for me, and that's all I wear, right? And that's what I help women to do too, is
to learn for themselves. Yeah, what works, what's best for us. Why not? I love it. Fiona, if we want to reach out to you, stylebyfiona.com is the website, and on all platforms, right?
Pretty much.
Great. Do you offer like a consultation? Is there like a free consultation or initial consultation? Someone wants to get started to maybe see if they can work with you. How does that set of process work?
I usually just email back and forth, or they could just call me and we can have a chat about what their wardrobe goals are and what they want out of this service. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you again. We appreciate your time here. Looking forward to the next time we get to connect. Thank you again for being so organized and thorough, but that's what you do. She's she's got style down. She's got organization down too. I could only imagine your closet. Is it color coordinated?
Yeah.
I love it. What about like long sleeves, short sleeves? Is it that too? Yeah. Okay. Yes. I want to know more about that next time. Remind me. Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.